daycare worker arrested in Bainbridge. Yvette Thurston is facing felony child abuse charges for her alleged treatment of a toddler. Thurston was arrested at Little Blessings, a church child care facility, and is still wearing that Little Blessings shirt in this booking photo. The child's father shared photos of his one-year-old son online and with us, but we want to warn you first, these images are startling. This is Clay Weeks. His father, Corey, says this happened on Clay's first day. Bainbridge Public Safety says they were called to the facility Monday just before 7 p.m. BPS has not released any details about what happened, but says officers were able to watch video surveillance of the incident. Thurston has bonded out of the Decatur County Jail and was ordered to have no contact with anyone under 18 or the Weeks family.
Yo, YouTube, what's going on? Trey again with y'all another video. Hope y'all having a very great day. Hope y'all having a very great week. My day is going absolutely marvelous. Big shout out to all the channel members and subscribers to the Trey King Show family. And much love to each and every last one of you all. And you all, we have a story out of Georgia by way of Bainbridge. And big shout out to everybody in the great state of Georgia, everybody outside the great city of Bainbridge. Now, before I start this story, I want to send a special thank you out to my channel members and also to my subscribers for seeing me this story. And also, keep these stories coming. Now, you all, I'm not going to be long today, but I'm going to be very strong. But I want you all to put your thinking caps on and ask yourself, what can make a grown-ass person, yes, what can make a grown-ass person do a little child like this? As in the case of this story right here, where we have 54-year-old Yvette Thurston who violently assaulted a child. And not only did she assault the child, but she went as far as to try to cover it up and lie about the whole situation. Now, the child that she assaulted, and it's all captured on video, so there's no need to say, well, Trey, where's the evidence? Look at that little boy's face. That's all the evidence you need right there. Now, this incident was all captured on video, and the video shows Yvette Thurston violently assaulting this child. Now, you got to ask yourself one question. Why would a person take a job working around children at a daycare if they're going to assault the child? Think about that. And now, this incident took place at a daycare called Little Blessings inside the great city of Bainbridge, Georgia, where this daycare is located, yes, as you all can tell, inside of a church. And the church go by the name of Church of God. And I don't know what the hell made them name this daycare Little Blessings. Well, them blessings must be very small because we sure cannot see them. Now, ask yourself this, family. What would you do if you drop your child off one way and then you come back to pick your child up and your child looking a total different way? How would you respond? How would you react? And also, who ass would you kick that day? Because I guarantee you, she would never have done this to a black woman child. Let's just keep it real. And no offense to my Mexican people out there. No offense out there to my white people out there. But at the same time, Yvette Thurston would not have done this to a black child. You know why? Because some of y'all looking around right now asking yourself, well, Trey, tell us why. You know why? Let me tell you this. Because a black mom would have beat that ass. Let's just be for real. Now, Yvette Thurston found herself in a lot of hot water. And not only did she find herself in a lot of hot water, but she's also facing a mandatory prison sentence, as you all see this screenshot. Now, one thing about this whole situation that also really just rubs me the wrong way is the fact that whoever took this damn mugshot, why do you all enhance the damn picture like I done? I mean, who all do you think you're fooling? Why do we have people out here in the media trying to protect crooks? Think about that. And let's begin.
He's recovering after allegedly being abused by a daycare worker. Now the boy's father is speaking out. Corey Weeks says it happened on his son's first day at Little Blessings childcare. He says he was initially told another child hit his son, but he saw the surveillance video and he claims it shows Yvette Thurston pushing and shoving his little boy and picking him up by his head.
Now, as you all heard the news reporter state, the news reporter stated that Yvette Thurston, after assaulting the child and beating the child up, she had the nerve, the audacity, the gall to blame it on another child. And I think about this also, family, to add to that point. What if the parent that she was telling this lie to about a child assaulting their child, and then the other child parent comes to the school to pick that child up, and then the parent jumps on that parent? Think about that. But as you all know and have seen off of other videos I have done, when situations like this happen, usually it'd be a huge fight right after it. So it's a good thing that the dad, Clay Weeks, and I'm sorry that happened to your son, and thank you also to the dad for sharing this photo with us, even though I know it hurts you very bad, but the world, the public, need to see this. And now this incident had taken place Monday, August the 11th, where the dad had dropped his one-year-old son off, Clay Weeks, the one that was injured, and also a 3-year-old son who go by the name of Wyatt. Now, surveillance video shows Yvette Thurston pushing a table into the child. And quite naturally, the child is only 1 year old, probably could barely walk and stand. The child fell down. And no, she did not go pick up the child immediately because she pushed the table to hurt the child. That's the reason why. So she left the child there on the floor for a few minutes and then came over to the child, picked the child up by his head with both her hands. She had her left hand on the left side of his face and had her right hand on the right side of his face, picking this child up by his head. Think about that. So not only could she have really injured this boy, but she could have also had broken this child's neck and killed the child. And now after Yvette Thurston picked up 1-year-old Clay Weeks by his face, she forcefully sat him down at a table. And that's when she started serving the other kids their lunch. But guess what she did not do? She didn't even feed the child. So you have to ask yourself this after hearing that. Not only did she assault the child, but she did not even want to feed the child any lunch. So what's the reason why she done this? Was it because the child was white? Or was it because she wanted some damn food her damn self? Think about it. Look how big she is. But at the same time, why wouldn't you feed the child even though you assaulted the child? That's a damn shame right there. And also added to that point, Yvette Thurston wasn't the only daycare worker that was working around Clay Weeks that day. She also had another daycare worker working there with her who goes by the name of Miss Crawford. And surveillance video shows this incident had taken place once Miss Crawford had stepped outside the room. So not only was she trying to be sneaky about doing this, but she also went as so far as to take the child out into the hallway once Miss Crawford, the other daycare worker who was helping her, came back to the classroom. And it's also reported that she had 1-year-old Clay Weeks outside in this hallway for roughly about a minute where the child started screaming louder and louder more. Now you would think that somebody would have came and checked on the child after hearing him hollering and screaming that loud. You would think that somebody inside this church or other workers inside this daycare building would have came and assisted Yvette and seen what was really going on. Because you just never know what may be happening that day with the children. But at the same time, you mean to tell me throughout this whole building, nobody came and tried to check on the boy? So it leads one to believe while Clay Weeks was outside in this hallway, Yvette Thurston was assaulting the child even more. Because ask yourself this, how can a child sustain this type of injuries unless somebody beat the child up? Think about that. And the nerve of Yvette Thurston to sit there and tell the parent that 1-year-old Clay Weeks got these injuries from another child scratching him and also hitting him in the eye with a plastic toy. That wasn't no damn plastic toy. That was a big ass fist. Because it's like, Yvette, you got some big hands. Let's continue.
To watch it, it was very, very concerning, very confusing. It's hard to sit there and watch somebody do something to somebody so little. Like I said, that's not able to even speak back to you, not able to let you know what's wrong. It was his very first day there at the daycare center. He's never been away from me or his mom.
And also adding to what the dad said, this incident had taken place on Clay Weeks' first day of daycare. Little man only been to daycare one time, and that was the day that he got assaulted. Now, just to backtrack just a few minutes ago, while Yvette Thurston was outside in the hallway with Clay Weeks, she came back inside the room, and it was noted that she had the child's face tucked toward her chest area, trying to prevent the other teacher, the other daycare worker that is, Miss Crawford, from seeing the child's face. So the story goes also that she laid the child down on a mat on the floor, and little Clay Weeks was trying to get up off the mat, but she kept forcing him down to the mat and also was trying to hide his face with a blanket. Yes, trying to cover up what she had done. But ask yourself this though, family, how in the hell can you cover this type of injury up? Think about that. The nerve of this woman. So her and Miss Crawford was talking inside his classroom, and the report states that Miss Crawford was asking Yvette Thurston what had happened to Clay Weeks, and Yvette told Miss Crawford the same thing she had told the dad later on, that it was a child that had attacked Clay Weeks. But you can look and tell this was not a child attack. She took the child to the office where she spoke to a director named Miss Janine Buford. Now, Miss Buford gave Yvette Thurston an ice pack to give to the child to put over the child's eye. Now, think about this also as we look at this picture. What in the hell good can an ice pack do to this child's face? Look at this child's face. And what makes the story even more worse, family, is the fact that the director, Miss Janine Buford, offered Yvette Thurston an ice pack, but Yvette Thurston ass left the ice pack inside the office and then took Clay Weeks back to the room where the assault had taken place. Now, the story goes also that the director of Little Blessings Daycare, Miss Janine Buford, came to the classroom and gave Yvette Thurston the ice pack there. But she still did not put the ice pack on the child eye. You know how we know that? Because the video shows all that, and all that is inside of the report. Now, you would think that after the director, Miss Janice Buford, seen this child injury, she would have called the police. She would have called EMS. She would have also called the dad. But they didn't call anyone until the child eye kept getting worse. And then they was forced to call somebody. So they called Clay Weeks' dad eventually, and the dad arrived at Little Blessings Daycare roughly an hour later. And the reason why it took the dad so long to get to Little Blessings Daycare was because he was in Florida working. Now think about this. What if you had work doing your job and you get a phone call saying something happened to your child? Imagine how distraught you would be. Imagine how terrified you would be, especially when you are dealing with people who have something to hide, people who are trying to cover up what they have done. But the story goes also that when the dad got to Little Blessings Daycare, that's when Yvette Thurston told him a hot-ass lie, basically stating that it was another child that attacked his child, when we all know that's quite impossible because, once again, look at those injuries. So the dad, not thinking too much of it, kind of bought the lie. He left Little Blessings Daycare and roughly returned 30 minutes later because his son's eye was getting more bigger and more purple. Now, the dad, when he came back the second time, that's when he asked the director, Miss Janice Buford, could he review the video. But Miss Janice Buford had the nerve to want to speed the video up as if she was trying to hide something. So let me ask you all this. Do you think the director knew what was on the video? Because once again, of course she had to know because that's her job. You mean to tell me you're not going to review what had taken place at your daycare? Because why would you try to hide and cover up what taken place? Why not let the video take place and show the video in its natural state? Now, the dad picturing something was wrong immediately called the police and also EMS, and then the police came to Little Blessings Daycare, but Yvette Thurston was already gone. Now, while the police was there, the dad and also the police was reviewing the video, and it showed everything that I just told you all and everything that's also on the report. It showed Yvette Thurston violently assaulting this child. So once Bainbridge police seen the assault, that's when they called Yvette Thurston and they told her to come back to the school. And as soon as she got back to the school, guess what happened? Yes, they arrested her ass for first-degree child battery and also aggravated battery on a child. And now in the state of Georgia, first-degree child battery is a mandatory prison sentence where it says the person who carry out that crime have to serve no more, no less than 5 to 20 years. So Yvette Thurston ass is looking at some prison time since you want to jump on little children. That's a damn shame. Let's close up.
Thurston was arrested and charged with child abuse and battery. The state issued an emergency closure order for Little Blessings. They did not appeal that, so that center will be closed until September 21st.
And now in closing, after the media and also the state heard about this incident, that's when they ordered Little Blessings Daycare to be shut down, citing multiple violations. So let me ask you all this once again in closing. What kind of prison time do you think Yvette Thurston will have to serve? And also, why would the daycare cover up what this woman have done? Only thing you all had to do was just stand on business. I mean, you all connected to a church, so why not stand in truth? Also, the nerve of you all. How you going to have a daycare hooked to a church and then at the same time, you're hiring workers that's coming in there beating up children? That's a damn shame. And then going so far as to cover it up. But this goes to show you what some people think about you and also your child. So once again, to Little Blessings Daycare, they need to keep you all shut down because there's no reason, there's no way in hell that anybody should bring their child there, especially when you have this kind of activity going on. Anyway, you all let me know what you think about this story. If there's anything I may have missed or misinformed, which is not my true intent, please let me know in the comment section or you can email me. We can talk about it more there. If you like the video, push that like button. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Become a channel member. Also, share a video with your family and friends. Till next time, you all stay blessed, and I will see y'all soon on the next Trey King Show. And guess what? I'm out.